Hey everybody, today I'm going to review a very unique pair of pliers from Knipex, and these are called their Raptor pliers. They're specifically designed to lock on and not mar up a fastener, and a lot of people will use these when they're doing front end alignments because they can lock onto a tie rod and not mess it up. Now there are some other real advantages to it because of its unique design, and what we're going to do in this video is really go over that. I'm going to show you how it's different from a standard pair of, let's say, water pump pliers, and we're also going to see how it compares to a standard pair of Cobras. Here's a closer look at the pliers, and I do want to point out the overall design of them are going to be very similar to other Knipex pliers, with the exception being the head. Now also keep in mind that this does not have the comfort grips, it's going to have the standard red grips. Many people prefer this over the comfort grips, and it's also a more sleek design. Now because of the design of these, they're not going to mar any fasteners, and the jaws are actually perfectly smooth. So if we take a look at the bottom jaw as well as the top jaw, you can see it will grip on and lock on. However, it does not have the teeth that will mess up the fastener you're working on. And when we compare them side by side with a set of the Cobras, you can see how similar they do look. Now of course the Cobras have been put through a lot more use, but the overall size and shape of them are going to be very similar. The biggest difference other than the head is the fact of how wide they can open up for the maximum capacity. If we take a look at the Cobra opened up all the way, it does have a pretty massive capacity. And then the Raptors open up all the way is not going to be quite as much. So flipping this around side by side, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The Raptors, even though they are going to be the same length, could not handle the same size bolts or fasteners as the Cobras. One of the very useful features that they have built into these is its unique ratcheting action. That will allow us to clamp down on a fastener, rotate it until we run out of room, and now rather than have to completely remove the pliers and readjust them on the next flat, we can simply loosen up our grip, rotate it, and it will lock back on. So let's say you're removing or installing something, this can really speed things up and save you a lot of time. Like other pairs of Knipex pliers, this does feature a box joint design, which makes everything very stable, and when you clamp down with force, it's not going to flex from side to side on you, like a standard pair of slip joint pliers can. Now with this design, one part's going to be on the left, the other part's going to be on the right, and if you clamp down with force, it can flex on you. You don't typically run into that problem with any pairs of Knipex pliers because of that unique design. Now you do want to keep in mind adjusting this is extremely easy. There's a large silver button, you just press that in and it will rotate up and down. There are 15 possible positions. All you need to do is just line it up, release the button, and it's going to lock into place. It has a smallest opening of 3/8 of an inch and then a maximum opening of 1 1/4 inches. The last thing I want to point out when comparing them to other pairs of pliers is the fact that the Knipexes will not pinch your fingers like a standard pair, specifically when they are opened up to maximum capacity. With a normal pair of pliers, you'll see exactly what happens. It's opened up all the way, and when you squeeze the two together, if your hands are caught in here, you can pinch them and really hurt yourself. However, the Raptors are completely different. When they're all the way shut or all the way open, there's still a good amount of space in between here, and you're not going to accidentally pinch your fingers and hurt yourself. Now to test these out on some rusty suspension bolts, I'll go ahead and lift the four-wheeler up, pop the tire off of it, then we'll zoom in and see what type of job the Raptors are going to do. Now that I popped the wheel off, I can use the Raptors to break the nut free on the end of the tie rod end. And it's not going to mess any of the flats up because the surface of the Raptor is completely flat with no teeth. This is going to prevent marring, and it's also going to prevent any damage to that fastener, even though it is rusted in place. And now taking a closer look at that nut, you can see it did not round off any corners, everything's completely smooth, and because of the flat jaws we didn't cause any damage. One of the main advantages of the Raptors is it only needs very little clearance in order to tighten or loosen a nut or a bolt. Something like a ratcheting wrench that has a fairly large box end just will not fit because the bolt is too close to the obstruction next to it, and our only choice would be to use the open end. Now this can be very time consuming because what we would have to do is turn it roughly about a sixth or maybe a third of a turn, take it back off, and then rotate it to the next flat. With the Raptor, because it has a unique design, it's going to reach both sides of the nut or the bolt, and we have a ratcheting effect, it can tighten or loosen this very quickly. So now that we have it on our bolt, all we'll have to do is rotate it, slightly release, and it will ratchet to the next position. And it makes installing or removing fasteners extremely fast. So now you've seen the Knipex Raptors for yourself. And like I showed you in those clips, the unique design features they have built into this really make them useful. The ratcheting action, along with that quick adjust, makes lining it up to whatever nut or bolt you're working on very easy, and it has that range between 3/8 of an inch all the way up to 1 1/4 inch. Now you do want to keep in mind that they don't make these in multiple sizes, so the only option you have is to get a pair of the 10-inch models. But they are made in Germany, and they also carry a lifetime warranty against manufacturer defects. So if you ever have a problem with them, and it's not an abuse situation, Knipex will fix or replace these for you free of charge. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe. And thanks for watching.